Hello everyone, just like the other video, I promise there will be more talk of Slappy, so we are going to talk about Slappy. There's two things I need to talk about. I kind of forgot what I was about to talk about just moments ago, but I remember the other thing I was going to talk about. The other thing I was going to talk about is the interesting part of where you have Slappy the living dummy not even saying slaves. You are my slave. I will enslave you. Slaves. It's like, so he dropped the vernacular, or was that just a part of the story and that doesn't even have to deal with the real true Slappy? Or is it just the fact of they can't do it because if they do that on TV screen, there might be people who are offended, even though they did it in the freaking television show many times. And all the whole span of Slappy on TV, he always was able to at least say once, slave. So it's kind of weird how they actually red coded him and said, no, 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 no. The S word is off limits. You can't say that. I don't know. I think they technically developed Slappy to the way of where he's more of his own man than actually being stuck with his whole Slappy stick of, you are my slave. If you don't obey me, I'm going to hurt your family. Oh my gosh, man, that sounds horrible. I would love to hear the part of where in the end it turns out that Slappy is technically been inspired by all boyfriends out there who are like totally like clingy to their girl. The fact of they made sure that their girlfriends are never with friends, even if friends are boys. Yeah, definitely if friends are boys. No, no, no. They just straight up get them isolated, and only person that's their world is their husband slash their boyfriend. I would love to hear that. It would be so funny. But anyways, now here's the messed up part where I kind of said previously in one video that I have to clear up. Thanks to Squid Jib, or Squid Jib, it turns out I kind of misread what happened in Night of the Living Dummy. I haven't read the book. I prefer not because it gives me a horrible dark vibe, and I so can't just pick it up and say, okay, let's read it. Yeah, the only way I'm able to do it is if someone rips both the covers off. If you rip the cover off, I'm able to read it. I'm sorry, but that's just how it goes. It gives a horrible negative vibe for me, and I just can't pick it up. Anyways, so what I previously said was that Slappy was basically Mr. Wood reincarnated. And with that said, that means that, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, Mr. Wood was taken out of the equation and enters Slappy, which is technically Mr. Wood, but he adopted the name Slappy. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. But sadly, due to one of them, I think it was Jason, who actually pointed this out, it turns out that he said, is the other one gone, slave? Since he said the other one is gone instead of I have returned or something like that, it turns out that Slappy was actually alive this whole entire time. Which is interesting. Well, it's kind of funny too if you think about Night of the Living Dummy 2, the episode version. I bet the book version could be the same. But anyways, the episode version basically had the same deal. The fact that she read the words, which is kind of crazy. It's like, why the hell would you read the words aloud? What the? Well, anyways, so I forgot the other name of the dummy over there, but yeah, that guy actually was alive too, and he didn't do anything. And it's kind of crazy just the fact of he allowed himself to get pushed off the chair. That's kind of weird if you think about it. So you're telling me that you were alive this whole entire time and you came to the rescue at the very end, but when you got pushed off the chair, you decided to just take it? That sounds very messed up. I mean, if I were you, I would kind of pull him down with me. I would pull Slappy down with me. right down with me. So I'm like, yeah, you want to do that? Okay, yeah, okay. This means war, you bastard. Bad blood. Bad blood. So, oh man. But anyway, sadly, I'm saddened that it's not the case. It turns out that they both were alive at the same time. So I don't get it. I don't really get it though. It's like well, if you see what's going on, Mr. Wood was very, very, very sinister. Not only that, but he was cruel. So chances are, if you think about it, Mr. Wood could actually have been a threat to Slappy, and that's why he didn't want to even show himself that he's alive or anything. So technically, if you think about it, Slappy is a big fat coward in this freaking book. He's a freaking damn coward. And then you got the nerve at the end saying slave. It's like, listen, if you didn't like him in the first place, how come you didn't get rid of him? You idiot. It's like, yeah, why don't you do the dirty work too, you bastard? I mean, Rocky did the dirty work. Yeah, everyone who was a dummy did the dirty work, except for the fourth one, which I only saw the episode version of that one. And in that version, yeah, it was no one who actually did the dirty work on that one. It most likely was an accidental death. Well, kind of accidental. Even so, the thing is this is that I just kind of wished it was the whole they changed souls, or at least the breath of life in quotations went from Mr. Wood into Slappy, and then he got to have his own character. The other idea was just be the fact of the words that you see in the letter code, those words. Maybe they're Egyptian or Aramaic. Kind of makes sense. And my idea would just be the fact of the freaking spirit, whichever you want to call it. Mr. Wood and Slappy are technically pharaohs or something like that, you know? But of course, it won't work. Yeah, that won't pan out that much. And besides, it's like, how do pharaohs actually? Pharaohs don't really do their dirty work. Pharaohs have people who do it for them. So that's like, yeah, that doesn't pan out. It would be kind of messed up if they actually were slave owners. No offense, yeah, no offense. No one actually get offended by this. But it's like, it would be crazy if they actually were slave owners. But even slave owners, they didn't have to be like, oh yeah, we're going to kill your family if you don't do what we say. It's like, no, they never did that either. So I don't really know. I think on his own, he was just an evil person. They're all evil persons. Both of them were. It's just that Slappy is a little bit the lesser of two evils and a coward. And he was a coward. Sorry, but he was a freaking damn coward. The only messed up thing I really don't understand is that if Mr. Wood was the main antagonist in the Living Dummy, then how come for the first Living Dummy, then 2, 3, 4, they're still used the same ventriloquist dummy you see? I mean, I guess it's kind of like with Jason in a way. I guess that's how you can explain it. It's kind of like Jason. The fact that Jason didn't get his iconic look until the third movie, but yet we remember Jason as a guy with the hockey mask and a machete. But in the first movie, it was technically his mom who was killing people. Then in the second movie, he showed up as an ugly looking with a sack over his head. And then in the third movie, that's where he actually got the mask from a goofy kid. I guess that's kind of like how you can answer it. It's just the fact of Slappy is the running person. He is the face of Goosebumps. But you can't just all of a sudden in the second book and third book and fourth book just switch new face. Even though I do have to say the British version is kind of cool, and I wonder if the British version is the reason why Slappy looks like how he looks like today. That is an interesting question. And I mean British version, UK version, as in the first Living Dummy book, not the rest of them. Because after a certain point, they decided to go with Mr. Tim Jacobs' illustration instead of doing their own. So I think that's a good coverage. So there you go. So thank you for watching, and tell me down below what you think about this. Have a happy, scary Halloween.